Hello.
Hey, hey.
Hi.
And I'm going to pull myself out of the stream now and let the two of you get to talking.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Because I have just a few questions. I hope you're ready.
Oh, whoa. I hope I am. I hope I can answer.
No, I'm looking forward to just visiting, having a good time, learning more about you and your work. I think that everybody's going to be excited to hear some more information about all of that. And thank you for joining in with us. This is a big deal for everybody. I think that you're here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I love anything where we're helping people. I'm for it. I'm at it. I'm for it. I'm all about it.
Absolutely. I get involved with a whole lot of charity myself, and when I see other people doing that, it's a feel-good thing. It's definitely that. And so when they
restores your faith in humanity with everything, right? You go, God, okay, there's people doing good work, and that's heartening.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Well, I don't really have that many notes. That was a joke, of course, but I do have some here, and I didn't want you to say, oh my God, he's going to write a book. That comes later. But just to get a little bit more about you, I'm always interested in the people behind the work we love. And can you tell us a little biography about yourself and your inspirations? What led you to acting?
Mm-hmm. Wow. So it's a long history for me because I was a kid. I was one of those, I knew it when I was 10. I got the bug. I saw a theater production. I'm from the Bay Area, Oakland, California. And I went to a show. Literally when I was a kid, my mom took me to a theater production and I was hooked. And from that point forward, I did children's theater and then moved into professional theater when I was in high school and did some local professional theater. And then I went to UCLA for theater and dance. So I was pretty much going to between New York and LA, dancing, doing theater, and that then led to film and television. So I was kind of been in LA, but I was also doing theater in New York, dancing in New York, and then I had to make a decision because I was kind of professionally dancing. I don't know if you know Alvin Ailey. Have you heard of Alvin Ailey?
Yeah,
I was on that track. So it was actually an amazing track to be on, kind of an incredible studio, incredible, Alvin Ailey American. For those who don't know, Alvin Ailey American Theater Dance Company is just, it's a staple. It's just the most incredible place. But I kind of felt like it was calling me to do film and television. I'd been doing a lot of theater and I just really wanted to break into film. So I came back to UCLA, got my degree, and then just hit the pavement hard in LA and started working. And, I don't know if there's actors watching, but, everyone makes it look like it's easy. We all struggle. There is that struggle, and you are grinding, and then it hits. It just starts slowly hitting. And that's kind of what happened with me. And I started off just doing television, and then I got my first big series. And it was, I don't know if those who know, it's Unforgettable. It was on CBS. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of my breakout series, regular, got to be a star of a show and, live that life, which I mean, I got, again, to go back to New York. So I was in New York doing this incredible series and it was just the time of my life. I was doing stunts and then long story short, I got pregnant with twins. I was married and got pregnant with twins, surprise.
From the stunt?
Yeah, while I was doing the show, and I had to hide. So if you look at some of the Unforgettable episodes, kind of the later episodes, if you look closely, some people can search it out. If you look closely, you can see they start hiding me. Like I'm behind desks, they're hiding my belly, And so I had twins, and that kind of slowed me down a little bit, but then I went back to LA and then I just started getting back into it and just the next big show I was on for many years was Bosch. And I don't know if you guys know Bosch. Great show. It was, and the thing about Bosch, for those LA nerds and procedural nerds, it is quintessential cop LA. And they were all about the authenticity of it. So we're shooting in downtown LA, in the middle. There's not a lot of shows. Most of the time you're on the stage, soundstage. But we on Bosch, which is Amazon, you're just going all over the city. And I kind of did that for 7 years, did Bosch Legacy. And then from that to Superman and Lois, which was superhero. Anyway, there's lots of in between, but that's kind of like the arc of where I just left off doing Superman and Lois. And yeah, that was a time of my life. I got to be a villain. My first time being a super villain. So yeah, that's kind of the basically, and there's lots in between.
Yeah, well, I'm going to touch on some of those lots in between here too, I think. But what was the one thing you saw in theater that was the trigger in here that said that's me?
So the show was Guys and Dolls. Strangely enough, it was just and it was musical theater that got me first. It was the live stage, just the euphoria of it that just nabbed me. And I just couldn't believe, you're a child, right? And I just couldn't get over. I was in awe. I was one of those, like my mom says it. She said, my mouth was agape, and I'm 10 years old and I'm just staring at the stage. And there was something about the joy and the presence and the way in which you just felt zapped. Do you know what I mean? And if you go to live theater, there's just nothing like it. Nothing. The audience is part of the experience. And I just said to myself, I want to do that. I want to affect people. And that's really what it was about. I want to change the way someone feels in a moment. That was my whole thing. I was like, it wasn't about just me being on, in the center of attention. It was more about how can I change the way someone feels in a moment. That really interests me.
Yeah, and being able to do all of that acting, it can be moving for a lot of people. We've got here in Memphis, there's a block, and in that block, there's 4 or 5 theaters right there together, and so we're never without a show in particular. And there's other theaters around here, but there are so many of these shows you can sit in and watch these folks get up, work it. I mean, they're putting their guts out on the stage for everybody to see, really. And sometimes you get so moved by these plays and some of the things and sometimes there's just that one line that some character says and it just sets you over the edge and you're, oh,
yeah, yes,
you're ready to give in.
Those are the moments. And for an actor to do that, what they have to do that, it's really, you can't fake it. You know what I mean? The audience knows when an actor's faking it. It's weird. We're connected. So I always feel like if it's not authentic, if you're not really doing your homework and tapping in, they're going to know. And you're not going to have that moment. It's not going to do it, right? So the ones that do that are the special ones.
Well, that was one of my other questions was going to be what makes a performance work for you, and you just answered that. It's all about that emotion and changing somebody's life and emotion, and maybe even the way they think about a certain thing, opening up that box, right?
Yeah.
And helping them see things from different angles, even.
Well, one of the things, an acting mentor of mine, Stuart Rogers, he's a guy out here who basically was my mentor from college on, right? And he had an incredible acting class. And one of the things he would say is he really pushed us to do a thing called imagination work, where we were actually not going for the emotion. So it's contrary to what you think. So just a little acting lesson for those actors out there. You're not actually going for an emotion because humans by nature, we fight against emotions by nature, right? So normally what I always say when I teach kids or if you're really mad, you're actually trying not to be mad. Or if you're really upset, you're usually trying not to be upset. So what's interesting is that dichotomy that most of the time, what moves humans is the holding it and fighting against the emotion. So that, and really that's about delving into the human psyche and going, wait, why do I not want to feel this? What am I trying to push down? And those layers of feeling something but pushing it is the part where the interesting stuff happens. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
I love that.
Me,
it's really great description.
Yeah, that's the work I enjoy. I enjoy trying to figure out how a character ticks and why they're bothered, what they're trying to cover, and what they're also striving to be. Because we all are, right? Humans are trying we're trying to solve pain within us. We're all trying to solve pain. How do we solve pain? What are you doing each day? And in the actor, in a moment or in a scene, what are you doing in that scene to either relieve yourself, relieve the other person, get better, feel better? You know, it's a fight.
Yes. Yes, it is. And as far as talking about trying to hide emotions, when it comes to crying, I try to hide it. And it's not from a masculine thing. It's just I make really ugly faces when I cry. And so I try not to do it.
Makes
don't
it,
want to scare
I hear
people.
you. And you would be a
Well,
great character to play. That's what I'm saying. Like that little detail is literally, as an actor, you would have to like figure that out in a guy. Let's say I'm playing you, you know, whatever, somebody's playing you. It's like, oh, he's not crying because he's trying to be masculine. He's crying because he's self-conscious of his face. Like that's
right.
literally a detail that you put in. And then that makes your performance that much more interesting anyway. So yeah.
No, I love that. The one part of creating characters is creating that background, that biography of the character. Of course, I learned all that from watching the performers from Muppets for all of these years, where they say, you can be this character, but you have to know what that character's driving force is. Where did they come from? What is their biography? Miss
Exactly.
Piggy growing up in a sty basically has the personality of a truck driver. All of these things that Frank Oz described is like, oh, okay.
Oh
And
yeah.
so,
He's a
oh,
genius.
oh,
Genius.
brilliant. One of the questions that we have is, do you prefer a straight play or a musical? Have you a preference for that?
It used to be musicals because that's what I kind of grew up on, like I said, and I did a lot of musicals in college. But unfortunately, my voice is not the. I I wasn't blessed with the most incredible voice. I can sing, but I wasn't. Once it started getting older, and I started realizing, once you get deeper into musical theater, you really have to have those chops. And my sister, crazy enough, is a singer. So I had a sister who was a singer. If you had merged us, man, but I could sing well enough, but I just started getting drawn more to straight plays and film and television for that reason. So I was kind of a double threat versus a triple threat. I could dance and act, but the voice just kept, oh, it was frustrating too, because I really wanted, I think in another life, I would have been a huge Broadway. That's where I was headed. But the voice, I didn't have the voice like that. So
It's
yeah,
in
so
there
straight
somewhere.
plays.
I know it's in there somewhere.
It's somewhere. Maybe if I had studied it, I don't know. It eluded me. And then I got sucked into film and television. I really started to fall in love with that medium. And it moved me away from theater. I've been doing theater as much anymore. I do. And crazy enough, I love TV. I really love TV. And some people are like, I want to be on a film with the thing. No, I love TV. It's just my passion right now. So that's where I like to be.
Well, we need more of you on there then, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
especially because the shows became, TV got elevated. I don't know. What do you think? Like 10 years? It was elevated when streaming started and movie stars started doing TV and the writing just got better. And it really was Bosch. I think working for Bosch is what did it for me because they're artists, and that's what it is, working with artists and going, oh, this is fun. I like the quick pace. I like the rehearsal process of theater, but now that I have a family, it's a little different when you have a family because that rehearsal process takes you away. I like the medium of TV where it's like you have to make your decisions fast. You don't have time to indulge. You don't have time to get too heady. You just got to go. You got to trust and go.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So a little bit in there, you've answered this next question a little bit. But as a puppeteer and a cartoonist, for me, knowing creative people is probably one of the greatest things that I can think of, having an opportunity to keep these people in a circle, be in their circle rather. And what's fun is every once in a while you start to realize that some of the people, they've got other talents outside of what they do. Right. So one guy might be able to play piano and you just find out about it because he's been drawing and painting his whole life, but never put that out there. Is there a talent that you've never been able to express yet that you would like to in some production sometime?
I think my dancing is the biggest one just because that's always there and in me. And I would really love at some point to do a project. There have been a couple things that came out that just didn't pan out where I would have been able to use my dancing. I choreograph too. So I'm a choreographer. I write. I am a writer. I do a lot of poetry. One of the things I did growing up is I did spoken word slam poetry.
Oh.
So there was a whole period of time where I was doing a lot of slam poetry, and I was kind of traveling and doing that. And I always thought to myself, that would be interesting to incorporate that. And I think that could still come up, and we'll see. But those were the sort of things I was doing. I'm a big beach, like boogie boarder. I'm actually like a sports, like boogie boarder, outdoorsy, that kind of person. So there's just I think more so with acting, or when you're pursuing this, you do have to have outside interests where you can just go and escape for a little while. So you don't go crazy from this. The business can be a little, you need that break. But yeah, I would say dancing. I still am working on a project that I want to kind of incorporate that. So we'll see. It's in the works.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of led into another question there. So your mom, an actress, you produce, you do all of these things. What if there is downtime? What are the kind of things you fill downtime with?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of downtime. Not a lot of downtime. My life is crazy. It's so busy because I'm a mom of 3. So, and my kids are in the business. My kids are repped by my same team. So we're kind of, and my husband's an actor and a writer and a producer. It's really a family affair. So that's what's behind me. It's the movie we did together is called Blue. And my husband's a writer, so he writes stuff and that we produce together. The kids, my daughter is a 16-year-old, beautiful dancer, actress. So I'm kind of like momager, also actor. It's really one of those full-time. I mean, like full-time. The only downtime I get is going to the beach on occasion. Like, honestly, we are always trying to create something with the kids. The boys are basketball players, so that would be the only other thing I do. I go to a lot of basketball. I do a lot of basketball games with them. And just, those kind of regular things that you do in your life. But we're surrounded. We're the heart of LA. All of our friends are actors and writers. And, our good friend Noah Wiley just won an Emmy. I mean, like, it's crazy what's happening around us. Like, that's our boy, our other friend Dave. Like, we are friends. Our group is really great because everyone is very down to earth and very talented. So we get to sit back sometimes if maybe one of our things didn't jump off. We get to literally sit back. I'm watching the Emmys and I'm seeing 3 of my friends win Emmys. Their show just went, and I'm just going, this is incredible, right? I mean, I always say groups rise together. So when you're surrounded by I don't know if this is like this for you, if you have a crew of puppeteer, like, and you know how you can kind of like, play off of each other and you inspire each other. Yeah, it's like that over here. So we do a lot of just creative mishmash of like ideas and things like that.
And that's exactly what happens here. We pull each other in on different projects. I'm a editor for one of my best friends' graphic novel series, but he's also one of the best friends for my lead puppet character. And so being that we're also best friends, it all works in all of these other projects as well. And you mentioned Noah Wiley. Kristen Marie said that she loves Noah Wiley and had a picture of him above her bed when she was 16.
I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. He is a handsome man.
Well,
he's great.
Yeah, definitely. And my only reason why I didn't is my printer didn't work that day. I tried to print a picture of him, right?
And the nicest guy, by the way, like really down to earth. And it was great to sit back and kind of see how that whole show, The Pit, came about. It was like you kind of watch it when you have friends doing these kind of big shows. You get to sit back and see the creative process. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from a friend of ours, Dave Denman, who's also a big actor, who's doing great projects. And you get to sit back and watch your friends. And so there's never any like jealousy and then those kind of things that take place because I just feel inspired by them. But it's crazy to watch a show go from an idea and then become a hit. I mean, that's like where millions of people are watching it.
I've seen one of our friends win a literary award. I've seen friends win the big award. It's called the Ostrander Awards in theater here in town. I've watched all of these things happen, and it is such an amazing. Well, it's like I mentioned before. I get a chance to be in the midst of a circle of all of these creative people, and I totally get it. No jealousy, but it is such a heartwarming thrill to be able to see people succeed and move up that next little peg or the big jump, whatever that next success is. I love watching that happen.
I think
I
that goes
really
back to
do.
also authentic relationships. Like if anybody's out there listening, if you have something you want to do, I think it's always about connecting with like-minded people, regardless of where they're at. You connect with like-minded people and you create together. All the artists or creatives out there, that's where it starts. That's where stuff bubbles. That's where sometimes it takes time, but I just think that keeps your juices going. It keeps you from burning out too. It's how you do it. You do it together. It really is. It's collaborative.
It is, and it's soaking in all of that extra energy too, because we put out energy to our friends and cohorts, and they give it right back. And so it does keep you really inspired. They come in with their stories, they come in with their ideas, they're sharing, you're sharing. Things just build constantly. And so we might get together and just have a foundation of an idea, and you leave out with a skyscraper of a project, and it's a beautiful thing. I love watching that happen. Kristen asks, is there a TV show currently airing that you wish you could be on?
Oh man, a few. Okay, so I fell in love. I really wanted to find a way to be on Succession because again, that goes character driven. Character driven dramas are my thing. That's a huge show I want to be on. Severance. Some of the streaming Severance. So that's another. So Britt Lauer on Severance was my co-star on Unforgettable. So this is again, I watched her. So me and her are on Unforgettable on a cop procedural. But here's what's interesting. I am telling you, I can spot talent. I could also be Amanda. I can spot talent because when we were on that show together, she was fresh out of college, and we were just in a scene, right? And as I'm acting with her, I'm thinking to myself, wow, she's good. You know what I mean? Like it just hit me even in that moment. I was like, she's really good. Damn girl. And I always felt that about her, and I loved working with her and playing with her. And that was like one of her first credits. And lo and behold, down the line, I just watched her career, and the next thing you know, she's getting an Emmy. Just like, go ahead. That's what I mean. It's crazy. But you can see it. Right? You can see it early. Even if someone's not like super polished or whatever, you can see the talent. Even directors, like when you're working with a director, I can see it. You're working with certain, when I'm on Bosch, there's this guy named Tom Bernardo. Look him up. He's a producer writer of Bosch and on Bosch Legacy. And I'm telling you, I'm working with this guy and he's just brilliant. You can just, the stuff he's writing, the way he's talking, and I'm like, I want to work with that guy. So anything he touches, he's about to do another, there's about to be another spin-off. I don't know if I can say this, but hopefully, Bosch, like a prequel thing he's working on, and I'm like, I want to be part of that. So that, any character-driven dramas, I'm down. All right, comedies too, but I really like those.
Oh, that sounds good. Well, it sounds like that would be a lot of fun to be able to chase into, but also, don't you have these folks' telephone number? Just call them up and tell them that I said to let you on.
Yes.
I'm sure it'll work great.
I'm going to send this to them, and I'm going to be like, guys, hey, I mean, my own husband is doing it. Literally this morning, my own husband is in the kitchen, and we're having a conversation. He's working on a project, right? And he's doing a pilot, and he's also doing a movie. So I literally said to him this morning, I was like, babe, so where's my role in the movie? Like, what happened with my role in the movie? He was like, well, I got to get a name for this part. And I'm like, hold on. You don't have a part for me in your movie? He's like, no, babe, I got a part for you in the pilot. I was like, if I can't get my own husband to give me a part in the, but it's really about like, when you're creating something, you do have to have there is some nepotism and stuff like that happens, but really you do have to have the right person in the right role. But what happens, I think, is you create roles for people. Like you already know, you know what I mean? Like when, again, in your cohort of folks, you start
Mhm.
like he wrote a role for a friend of it goes like that. So I'm hoping
Right.
we have some stuff coming up that are friends of mine and we're talking about. We hit a crazy time because of the strike. I don't know
Mhm.
if you know about that
Mhm.
or people know about the writers
The
actors.
writer's strike.
It
Yeah.
hit us hard. It hit our industry hard. Like we're just kind of getting back from that. A lot of people
The
were out of
past
work.
like 5 years or so, everything is kind of jumbled up. Was the
Yeah.
writer's strike during or right after COVID shut everything down?
Yeah. So it was literally, we got double hit. So it was COVID, pandemic shut us down. Then we had a little bit of work. I came back to work. I was doing 3 shows literally at the same time. I was flying between Canada. I was doing Superman and Lois in Canada, flying to LA to do Bosch. And then I'm on a show called Black Hamptons, which is a fun, campy, soap opera-y kind of black show on BET.
Mhm.
So I was literally going between 3 shows. And then the strike happened and they all shut down at once. All at once. The whole city shut down. I mean, it was ghost town out here.
Wow.
It was probably worse than the pandemic in terms of shutting stuff down. There was nothing for, I forget how long it lasted. I think it was 6. I'm not sure. Someone needs to correct me for how long it lasted, but it felt like forever.
Right.
And we're
I mean, when
just now coming back and recovering from it.
when I visited LA, it was bubbling with life everywhere we rode and everything we saw, every place we went. There was just life everywhere. I can't imagine everything just being
Yeah.
kaput.
When were you here? When was that?
It was long before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Probably, it might actually have been. I'm thinking it could have been 15 or 20 years ago at this point.
Yeah. That was the
Time flies
heyday.
by fast.
That flies by that was the heyday. That's early 2000. Oh yeah, that's the heyday of TV. That's when we were flying. I'll tell you what's crazy is, so when I was on a show right before pandemic, I was doing Bosch right before pandemic, right? And we were at the studio. So there's a stage, the stages are all in Hollywood. So all the different stages, right? And you go to there's the big Paramount stage, then there's it's called the Red Studio, which we shot at, which is on like Cahuenga Boulevard. It's a smaller stage. But when you go to these stages, it's just like you're saying, it's bustling, right? You see
Mhm.
actors, you're having lunch on the set, you're having lunch on the lot. It's very what you would consider Hollywood shishi, blah blah blah, right? It's super fun. Right after the pandemic, I went back to do I did an NCIS LA episode,
Mhm.
and we go to the big lot over there on Melrose, and it was the weirdest thing. It was like ghost town. Even after the pandemic, we all were going back to work, but all the protocols were in place, right? Everyone's walking around with the mask and the things, and nobody's outside, nobody's eating lunch, and it was just eerie. And I'm like, wow.
Wow.
So it really hit our business hard. I mean, it was, between takes, you're literally, I remember so distinctly doing this one scene on Bosch, and it was a party scene. And between each take, we had to do the masks. That was when it was like early and they were
Mhm.
really strict. And we would talk and then and then cut, mask. Okay, action, put the thing down. I mean, just like that. It was crazy.
That does sound pretty wild.
Mhm.
Kristen mentioned that there's still some people out there not getting much work right today. Her brother does a lot of assistant director work, and they have a friend who's and can't read that part, and they're both on the East Coast right now.
Yeah.
So it looks like that the industry is still pretty slammed by it, but just making its way out.
No, it's bad. Like it's not, I'm
Mhm.
not, there's a lot of people out of work. That's why when some friends win and their shows go, you're so happy for them, because
Yes.
I know people who have acted big. I know a guy who was huge showrunner for 17 years and he's having trouble getting any work. I mean, I'm not going to say his name. He's a huge guy on a big show and he's having trouble. I mean, people are struggling. I think everything in the world right now too trickles. We're kind of the canary in the coal mine. Us actors, the film business, we get hit as soon as the economy gets funky. It hits us because people stop investing.
Right.
So
Mm.
we get the shows start paring down, less shows, less stuff, more reality shows. I tell people who are watching, the best way to support is to literally like watch the shows and not watch as much reality and really try to support TV and film. Go watch the shows, write about, that stuff helps.
In the old days, when I was a kid, 40 years ago now, you could write letters into the studios and say how much you love the show, this character, all this stuff. They would sometimes write back, or the stars themselves would write back. Do letters still help the shows if people write in and say, hey, we love this show, rather than just putting it on, the Instagram post for a particular show? Does that still help with support for our favorite TV?
I think it does. I think it would still make an impact. I think what they really look at is the viewership. So you tuning in and commenting on the show probably has more weight right now. I mean, I think writing in a letter, especially a particular actor or speaking about a specific actor, really helps, because and it goes right to the studio. They'll notice that. But in terms of the numbers of watching the show and posting and kind of engagement. The big thing is engagement. They want to, if they can see viewership engagement on a show, that I think that's counted. I'm not sure how they quantify it, but it's counted as so many, like one person is counted as 10,000 people, like one comment. They hold that as to be equal to a 10,000 people's view. Does that make sense? So
yeah,
it holds a lot of weight. I think we have more power as viewers than we ever did, actually. We can set the tone for content more than we ever have. Like, the viewers really set the tone. Like, when they really pay attention to what you guys are writing on those websites, on the shows. You know what I mean? Like, right. Those comments, those hold weight. They hold weight, the good and the bad.
Right. Right.
I will tell you, I was on a show when I was on Unforgettable. Weekly, we would get feedback, or the network would get feedback. CBS would get feedback on how people were responding to our characters. I mean,
wow.
So I would get direct feedback. Oh, they liked when you were a little more tough, or they liked when they were responding. So we're going to write you to be, you know what I mean? Like, they're literally telling us. Or, for example, we'd have an episode where, I forget, we were doing something and people didn't respond well to it. They were offended by XYZ. So we had to kind of like adjust. Yeah, it's very much the network's very much. That's why we just got Jimmy Kimmel back on. I mean,
right, exactly.
Viewers have power. I mean, really, we do. We have to utilize that power, I believe.
We need to work on some stuff for Colbert next.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Write in. Oh my God, like, just getting rid of subscriptions, writing in, getting on there. The more you flood the zone with that stuff, works. It works.
Well, just quickly, I want to point out for anybody that's just joining us, I'm Kevin Williams. We're visiting with the fantastic Daya Vaidya. Sorry. Yep. And we're here visiting for Otherworldly Fundraising. It's benefiting the group Options Save Lives, which empowers and supports individuals using the Sinclair method to achieve full recovery from alcohol use disorder. And you can support this opportunity for people to become the version of themselves that they're meant to be by clicking any of the links you may see posted, but also by clicking the lovely little QR code up there in that corner. So maybe I pointed it the right way, but if not, it's over at that corner. Over there somewhere. Scarecrow of Oz. And so I'm going to... I want to segue just a little bit here and ask you, because there's a lot of what we call super friends that are watching right now. So we're going to get over there. But if you had a stupid superpower, what would it be? Because mine would be the ability to fold maps back up properly, especially in a time when nobody uses paper maps.
I love it. That's good. I would have never thought of that, and that's good. Oh man, the superpower one. There's so many I want. Could I do them? Just one, huh? I know. I was gonna say, when my children be quiet as soon as I say it. Can I have that superpower? That will never happen. So I will say, okay. I really do think. I don't know if you know this, that I played Onomatopoeia in Superman and Lois. So that power, that you can do anything with your voice and sound, so instead of flying or whatever, the voice, I can do anything with that. That would include all the powers, because what I could do with onomatopoeia what I say happens. So meaning if I go fly, 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 my body flies. Or if I say bang, 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 something gets, everything gets done with my voice. So I have all that power. I don't know. That was a dope power. That was like, I kind of wanted to be
That's a really good one.
It is a good one. When I was her, I was like, I kind of wanted to be, I was liking onomatopoeia. I'm like, I could kind of do this. I could kind of be her.
So,
So I would say that.
Obviously, we have to like Superman, right? We're here a little bit because of that right now. Other than Superman, who is your favorite superhero and why is it Super Grover?
Super who? Super Grover?
Yes.
Oh my God, I forgot about Super Grover. Oh, he's the best.
I'm here to remind you about him.
When I was a kid, I loved him. You're just reminding me. I loved the Muppets. See, I was a big Muppets fan and big Sesame Street fan when I was growing up.
Still.
I was. And I should get back into it because it's been a while. And honestly, like I haven't revisited that. It would probably touch me, take you back, sense memory. I think superhero, I like, this is kind of like not like, I don't know if this is cool or very, I like Catwoman. And I like the women. I like the badass women. I like Catwoman. I like the, what's the other one? The one that, because I like Catwoman from when Halle Berry played her. And then the other woman, oh my God, who was it?
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Her. I like the badass women. To me, those move me. Like the men are cool, but I'm digging the women. I love that the onomatopoeia character was turned into a woman. I think they need to have more women. Like I think some of the newer ones are really cool. I like what's her name? The from the Incredible Five. Oh, what's her name? The blonde. She's the British actress. I'm forgetting her name. She's so good. Pew. Oh, what's her name? Her last name's Pew. P-U. Anyway, she's
if she's watching, she'll understand we really do like her.
I really like her.
Not
just
coming
for some
to the
reason,
front.
I'm forgetting her first name. But yeah, I say any of the badass women to me. That's kind of who I dig.
Florence Pugh. Kristen just posted Florence Pugh.
Yes, her. She's dope.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you I should remember her name, but
we will now. We will remember it now.
Mm-hmm.
So, acting opposite iconic characters like Superman and Lois, what does that feel like to act? And even Tyler and Elizabeth, what is it like to act opposite of these characters?
Okay. So Tyler, those of you who watch the show, he was so incredible. I'm not just saying this, like that guy. I don't know. He was rare. He's one of these rare people. He's like too good. You're kind of like, there's got to be something. He's too good looking, first of all. He was too good looking. I was like, you're too good looking. You're too in shape. You're too nice. See, usually there's something awry.
Mm-hmm.
Something, but he wasn't. And then he was like really a nice guy. So he's this Superman. I guess he took on the persona. So you're on set whenever we would do scenes. He was very chivalrous. So, we would be doing a scene at night and it's freezing in Canada and I'm on the ground and he'd come over per Superman, of course. Daya, can I help you? Can I get you something? Can I rest your head? I'm like, okay, Superman. Yeah, I get it. You're Superman. Like he was that guy. And then Bitsy, who played Lois, was just incredible. She's serious badass actress. So she was great because she would make you be your best. You know what I mean? One of those people. When I was acting with her, I had to be on my A game because she just doesn't play. You have to be on your A game to go toe to toe with Bitsy. And then Chad Coleman. Oh man, you guys know Chad Coleman, the actor? He played my husband and he played the other, we're the villain couple. Incredible stage actor. He is like true thespian. So it felt like when you're acting with Chad, it was like being on stage. It took me right back to theater.
Wow.
And he had those chops. So that was just one of those lucky shows. Superman and Lois was lucky. I feel like, I didn't want that show to end at all. I really loved that show. It was hard for me when it ended.
Well, maybe talk a little bit about that in a second. So onomatopoeia, that's a Kevin Smith creation. Did you hear from him, talk to him before or after? once the character hit the screen, like what was that
Yeah,
conversation if it happened?
I did. I sent him a message, and I think he was very. I particularly reached out to him because the fact that I thought it was a brilliant character, and then that they made it a woman. I think so one of the writers, had talked to him, I believe, and kind of got his blessing, and he was like, "Yeah, do it, transform it, go for it," and he really gave the blessing, and so he was very generous that way. I didn't get to talk to like hang out with him, but I definitely expressed to him my gratitude because I just thought he's one of these kind of people. He's a real he's that comic guy. I think the whole world was new to me. That was the one thing I hadn't come from the comic world, and that's a very niche, specific world.
Yes.
The fans. So when I did my press tour, I kind of did a whole press thing afterwards, and I really went into the whole Comic-Con, the whole the comic world, and what blew my mind is just how smart these fans are. And
they know all the details too.
They could tell me my my origin story was already laid out. I mean, they knew it better than I had. I had to do a lot of homework to catch up, to be in that world with them, because they just are no joke. So the whole show had to do their homework. We couldn't, they'll bust you if they don't like what you're doing. But what I liked is that they were open. I thought we were going to get more pushback about making her a woman, and kind of just also, I was worried that there was going to be pushback on the couple being of color, because in the original, of course, they're not. But pleasantly surprised we didn't. Everybody was really down and for it, and supported it. I was very happy about that.
Oh, that's awesome. When you're getting into a character like that, there has to be a process. Did you get the books? Did you read all the books getting into it? Or you said, we're creating this new character for the show. I'm going to take the script and study that and create this character based off of what I'm reading here.
So both. I did both, because I felt like I needed to know what the original one was before I could kind of put my spin on it. So I did all the homework. When I found out, the crazy thing is, so when I got cast, this was different. It was like backward. It was weird because they didn't tell me when I went out for the role that it was onomatopoeia. It was a secret because they didn't want it to get leaked. So sometimes when you're auditioning for things, it will be like, you'll have to do like an NDA, or they kept it a literal secret. The only time I finally found out, even after I booked the job, I didn't know. That's how much they kept it under wraps. So finally, I got a phone call from the producers after I just thought it was a woman who had cancer and was fighting for her life. So I was doing all the work on that. Then the exec producers and showrunners called me, and they said, so we have to reveal something to you. I'm literally having a Zoom with them like we are. And they go, so you're actually a supervillain, and your name is Onomatopoeia. And I was like, what? Huh? And when am I shooting? Wait a minute. It was like that. So when they told me that, I had to, oh man, okay. I think I had like a week or a week and a half before I was flying out to start shooting. So I just went into hardcore, studying mode, like every day. I just got I got all the cartoons. I did all the research. I was looking her up. So, and then I started talking to them, and they then were like, but we want you to put your spin on it, etc. And then I was able to then take that and kind of create. And then we worked. What the other cool thing about that part is I got to work directly with the wardrobe people, along with all of the special effects people. So it was really, they took in a lot of input. So it was done together. So as I created her, and then we had a movement person in which I had to create her movement. And that's when the dancing came in, because the stunt people, there was a lot of stunts, but they couldn't do the movement of her because she's a superhero. She's a creature. It is different, she's not human completely. So
a little bit, you did get to use that extra talent.
Yeah. So I guess I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did get to use the dance. I had to work with the stunt coordinator to create movement, to create the sound, to create the, so it was again collaborative and step by step. And then it was kind of again, TV fast. And then I just had to trust it.
Right.
You know, just trust that we were, and they had the mask. And then when I finally, the coolest part, was when I went into the final fitting where they put the super suit on me. And it was this, I mean, the full on thing, the suit, the mask. It was gorgeous. It was very well done. It was constructed. I mean, they had to go through a whole thing. It's kind of what they do on the movies. It was very, very finely constructed. They had to put me in it. They had to put me in a certain way. I needed like 3 people to put me in the suit, with the shoes, with the mask, so once you're in the suit, then all this stuff comes together. Then the character comes together. And then it's just, yeah, that was fun.
It born that character once you got into that suit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and then
amazing.
also with the special effects that you have to do with it. You have to do a lot of special effects.
Fantastic. So doing your own stunts, what is gratifying about it, but also what was the big ouch?
Oh man, yeah. So for us, because everything was outside and my stunts, everything had to be shot at night because that's when she comes out and she battles Superman. So if you guys watch it again, I think it's season 6 of Superman and Lois, and I battle Superman in the middle of what's like Gotham, basically, like in the middle of the street, and we have our battle. It's 2 a.m, right? And there's people everywhere, and it was water, and there were literal rats. I'm not joking. There were rats, not stage rats, actual rats. So at first, like when they put down the padding, because when you do your stunts, they put padding down and you have to like kind of practice. So I'm laying down on one of the pads, kind of getting ready for the next shot. And I'm laying there and I start seeing rats go by, like right where I was. And at first, I'm like, guys, there's rats. Can we? And of course they shut down for a little. Okay, we got rats on the set. No, the walkies, they're like, guys, can we take care of these rats? There was nothing they could do. They had to deal with. So the rats, next thing you know, they're not right on you, right? I'm not going to get bit by them. So I just had to like mentally go there. I just had to mentally put away the fact that there were rats and that they were running by and go into superpower mode and go for it. So that was probably the hardest night. It was freezing. Rats. And if you watch the episode, this is what's funny. You can see them. So watch the episode. If you look closely in the episode when she battles, not when she battles Superman. Look at the episode where she's battling. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the names. The guy in the metal. The character. It's
Doomsday.
Huh?
Doomsday.
Not Doomsday. I haven't revisited this in so long. He's all in metal. It's oh gosh.
Steel.
Huh?
Steel. Kristen wrote in Steel.
Yes, Steel.
How can we forget a name like Steel, because that's what he's wearing?
How do we forget Steel? It's the best character. When I'm battling Steel, Onomatopoeia is battling Steel in the middle. That is when, if you look closely, when she is attacking him, look behind us. There's rats, like going like this. They're going behind us.
That is wild.
It was wild.
So, or just like then, like regular rats must be less expensive than having to pay union rats from the studio, right?
We were making that joke the whole time we were there. We were literally like, "What are we paying the rats? The union. Call the union for the union rat." I mean, yeah. The jokes were going hard that night.
Oh man, yeah. I just heard from Mickey Mouse. He said they were getting paid peanuts. So, looking back at Superman and Lois, what is a favorite moment from that series for you? Was it working with the rats?
Oh God, no, the rats. It was mind over. I was scared of those rats. No, it was mind over matter with that night. My favorite moment of the that's hard. There were so many good moments. So I know what it is. I've always had a dream. I always had a dream to play a superhero. a super villain, super whatever. But the other part of that dream was that I could fly.
Mm.
You know, the flying aspect of it. So we were doing it, and I didn't know if that would ever happen. And then I think I got the script of episode, I want to say it was episode 5 or somewhere around then, or maybe it was near the end. And I got the script, and in the script, you kind of get this script beforehand. And I was looking at it and it said, oh, Superman takes her up into the sky and flies her way high in the sky. And I was like, ooh, what does that mean? What's going to happen? I didn't know. And then the day of the shooting, I went up to the stunt guy and I said, so how are we doing this? Do I get to be on wires? Because that is always something I've wanted to do. And he was like, as a matter of fact, you do. I said, oh yeah. So we did. That was the day they harnessed me. I got flown by Superman in the sky. He's holding me. I get like, I'm literally up there, and you have to, you have to be acting and doing all this technical stuff while like on high wires in the sky. I don't know, stuff like that is so cool. Like, it was one of those like bucket list pinch me moments. That one, and then the other bucket list pinch me moment. So that one, when I was just in the sky looking at the camera and being like, I'm getting to do this with Superman. This is cool. And the other one was when we were in the middle of filming in the middle of downtown Canada, Vancouver. Mm-hmm. And everybody came out at this one moment. We had this big spotlight and we were all shooting our scene, and there were just nothing but fans everywhere. Everyone came outside and were surrounding the set, and they let them. They covered the set for a certain part, but they were all out, and it was like theater for a moment. It was like we were performing in the middle with all the fans around and all the people who loved the show watching, and it was just, you could feel the tension, and it was interactive, and they were really into it, and they were exploding things, and stuff was like, and then the crane was, it was like in the middle of like a big blockbuster kind of movie, and it's another one of those moments in life where you just go, man, I'm gonna always remember this moment. This is pretty cool. I get to do this, what I love. It's just one of those that you take in.
Kind of in the round there.
Yeah.
Those nice little theaters. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta remember those moments, because there's a lot of hard moments. So you wanna kind of suck up the good ones.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And having the fans out there is, Kristen popped up a question here. We're hoping to see a Superman celebration someday. That is second weekend in June every year at Metropolis, Illinois. And honestly, I've worked with the kids programming there, with the kids costume contest, puppet shows, different workshops and things, in the Smallville tent, they call it, for the kids. But every year that I've ever gone, I've never failed to make one new friend at this place. Everybody that comes is just fantastic. Are you thinking about getting into, or are you in the con circuit yet? Are you getting into it? Like, what's your thoughts about that?
I want to be. I was starting to do the talks to do it. And again, the strike, it was right around the same thing with the strike, kind of shut stuff down. So it's funny you bring that up, because I am still talking about doing some of those, because I would love to. I love that world. And I do agree with you. The people are so nice, and they just want to meet like cool superhero characters. I mean, and it's fun to just go into those worlds, because I feel like they're magical. So I didn't know about this one. What's it called?
Superman Celebration.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's in Metropolis, Illinois.
Okay.
It is the southern tip of Illinois, right across from Paducah, Kentucky, on the river. They've got a 2-story tall Superman statue. I think they've been doing this event since 1972, maybe.
That is awesome. Kristen,
and
you gotta email me this, Kristen, if she's watching. Email me, because I want to ask my peoples about that, because that sounds really cool.
There's been a lot of people come through there, and I'm sure they've all had great experiences, because like you said, the people are so kind and the people are so nice, and I've only ever had great experiences in Metropolis, Illinois. Everybody there is fantastic. As a matter of fact, some of the people that we're chatting with behind the scenes of this, I know them because I met them there.
Oh, wow.
And
And it's in
all these
June?
20 some odd years later, you're still friends.
And you say it's in June? June is
It's
when
in
it is?
June, second weekend of June. Mark it on your calendar, save it.
I will.
Metropolis, Illinois. Come up, visit with people, have a Pronto pup, corn dog. No, it's a great event. It really is. And yeah, so I'm glad that Kristen mentioned it, because in my brain today, for some reason, it wasn't even going to Superman Celebration. I guess because it's not the second weekend of June.
Yeah.
What will you miss most about Peia?
Oh, Pia. I know. I love calling her Pia. I do. I miss that character. I miss her. I still miss her. I miss a lot. Oh God, what do I not miss? Like I said, it would probably one of the best experiences I've ever had to date. In my acting career, I miss being able to play a character that has this duality of being a cancer survivor, one end, and being just a woman, a normal, regular woman fighting for her life, which I could relate to, and turning then into a supervillain. Like this dichotomy of having to play both. That again, that goes back to what interests me in characters. I really like the spectrum of humanity and of human nature and of just people. And I don't want to just play good, normal, everyday people. This what interests me is, how does she go? The part that was the most interesting that I'm gonna miss is, what is evil? Like, was she evil? Is she evil? Actually, she was fighting for her life and trying to save her family. She's a mother. I think there was just something really interesting about how, where do we cut, like, if we're trying to save our family and your son, and she's trying to save the whole town, and then she's doing certain things to do it, like, where's that line? And I just found that interesting. I just think that it's rare that we get these kind of characters.
I think so. And
Yeah,
when you have characters that have all of that, you've got so much opportunity for depth, for growth, for change, for all of these different things. And
exactly.
I'm glad you had the chance to go through all that. Now, we've mentioned a few times about the story about cancer that had taken place on the show and all. And everybody in one way or the other, we're affected by it. I live down the street from St. Jude, and I volunteered at a bunch of the houses that the kids get to stay in, and plus, it's in the family, it's all that. But you've had you've had this as a part of your own story, performing this as part of the show. What draws? What's the words I'm looking for here at this point? What takeaway from doing that in the show, coming out from your real life,
Mm-hmm.
blending that together, and after that discussion, maybe what message have you got for other people who may be going through this?
Yeah. Ooh. So I don't know if everybody knows out there, I'm a two-time breast cancer survivor. I got breast cancer really young, which was weird and didn't expect it. Isn't in my family. It was just really like in the middle of my career, in the middle of having little kids. Shocking. And so this part, I'm just giving you a little background. I played Pia had cancer as well. So that process was just crazy, art imitating life, right? And used a lot of my actual experiences in the character. I would say that the fight, and I talked about this in the show. So this is something I want to put out there for those who are watching, or anybody who's going through any debilitating illness or any life-threatening illness. There's something that people don't talk about a lot, I feel, that I talked about in the show and I talked about as a character, and I called it the pull. And the reason I call it the pull is because when I was going through that, everyone talks about survival, survival, survival. And they talk about it in a way like the disease is just going to get you, right? And it's not that that won't happen or that's not part of the issue, but they never talk about how sometimes, as a person fighting a debilitating disease, there's a pull just personally to want to give up. And I don't even want to call it give up, give in. Because the pull to the other side, or the pull to just go, there's a beautiful component to it. And I feel like nobody talks about when you're near death or when you're in these really fight for your life moments, how to stay here, how to stay here. Because there's a part of you that just goes, it would just be easier. Oh, I could just go and I don't have to go through this to put my family through this. And what I learned from that whole experience was what it means to fight and how you fight. And it's not just fighting, it's really fighting for the beauty in your life, no matter how hard it is. Do you know what I mean? That I think we sometimes look for perfection. We look for constant validation, constant likes, people to want to. And instead, what it teaches you is to really be okay with the pain, the messiness, the hardship. How does that look? And how does it feel to just really fight for your life, even when it's not pretty or okay? And anybody out there doing that, it really is just digging in and going, I deserve it. I am meant to be here. And I used to say this to myself all the time. My story's not over. My story's not over. I say that all the time. I just do. My story's not over. Good, bad, ugly, painful, not painful. It's not over. I have more to tell. I have more to do, more to figure out, more messiness to be in. You know, that's what that character, that's what that journey. And if I could express that to anybody going through a hard time, just tell them your story's not over. You're not done. So keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going. Get up. Just get back up. It's kind of, but it's simple. Like every day is a new, just like when I was going through radiation, I was like, or my treatments, I was like, each day was just get back up. Just get up and do it. Go for it. Do it. And then the next day would do it again. Get back up until you get through. And then there's gold on the other side. I always tell people that brick wall, we're all hitting it. When you hit that brick wall, there is gold on the other side of it, right on the other side.
Yeah.
So don't stop.
Well, one line I've always used is on the other side of the storm clouds, there's still sunshine.
Yep.
Exactly. So let the storms clear as much as possible and take in whatever sun you can get.
Exactly.
I think that's right. Important. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's important news, and I think that's important information, rather, that a lot of people need to hear, because there's a lot of people going through things, and they need that uplift, and I appreciate it.
And what we're donating to this today, I think it's the same thing. Alcoholism, any illness, anything. These are, nobody wants to be in these situations, and it's also having that compassion. And I think when people are donating, I think part of donating too is not just giving money. It's also you're giving that support, because it's really energetic. You know what I mean? It's energetic support. Because nobody wants to be in these situations. Sometimes you just need a little support to get through.
A little. We've all had friends that's been there. Yep. And we keep them tight to us, and that's what helps them through. Sometimes there's a huge fallback into the life, and we've got to be there to pull them back in as soon as we can, because sometimes we ourselves are that little bit of a savior in their story, and we have to be on hand for it, I think. But yeah,
one more message real quick to people going through that alcoholism or illness or whatever is that you deserve it. You're worth it. You are okay. That's a huge, because self-loathing is a big part of it. You become like, why am I, down on yourself? And I think it's so important to remember that too, that you deserve to be here. You deserve to fight through it. You deserve to get wonderful things happen to you. You deserve it,
Yes, absolutely. I hope everybody's hearing this and listens to it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go back at some other time and just clip this portion out and put it out there, because I think everybody needs to hear it.
Yeah.
It's important.
I do.
And the people that we are supporting with this is Option Saves Lives, and there is a link and a QR code up at that direction, or that one. Depends, I guess, on which screen you're looking at, that you can take a picture of and you can donate there. And a number of the projects that you've been in, it seems to have like a police or crime element to it. What draws you to that?
Yeah, that's true. You're right. I do a lot of procedural drama stuff. I think it started with Unforgettable. It kind of got me in it. And then sometimes with, when you're in one show, they sort of see you and then you still go down that path. But I do like, I like procedural dramas because I like the whodunit thing.
Yes.
I like that. I like the figuring it out. Again, it goes back to I like because there's more complicated characters. Because you're dealing with people dealing with a lot of, it's usually someone that's it's the fringe of society.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's those folks. It's not the perfect. Although when I did Black Hamptons, what's interesting, that was the first time I did more of a. Oh, I did some soap opera. I did like General Hospital, but I don't count. I did that a little bit for that. But I would say the other side of procedural and cop shows is the larger than life, kind of heightened drama of kind of soap opera shows. That's fun too. But the cop shows and the what my husband would call the killing shows. It lets you go off into that fantasy of like these extremes, right? And those are just fun to explore. I think those are just fun to explore the psyche, like playing characters of that. I haven't yet played a bad guy though yet in one of those. I'm always the one trying to figure out. I'm usually the cop or the DA or the lawyer or the except on Bosch. Bosch was a little bit of the bad guy. I got to do some bad guy stuff, but I kind of
Yeah.
want to do that. I want to do that.
That would be fun.
It.
Being the villain does give you kind of a little bit more of a release, because when you are, in the regular world, of course, we try to be nice to everybody that we can be.
Yeah.
But to be able to play a villain, I have, this is silly, I'm sorry, but I have an Oscar the Grouch replica puppet that some friends made me. And I took it out to a little convention one day, and it was so cathartic to still be nice, but to be grouchy with people.
Yes.
It was so fun. I think being a villain would probably be a wonderful thing. Now, my whodunit, my guilty pleasure every year is Clue and A Shot in the Dark, a Pink Panther Peter Sellers movie. That are both a lot of fun, and those are the two that I always go back to in my head. It's like, yeah, it's time to watch this one again.
Yeah.
So much fun.
What is that? Why did you? It's because you're a nice person. I can tell when you're nice. You do need an outlet, an alter ego, something to kind of just to not be too much of a people pleaser.
Right. I lean in on my Groucho Marx, that part of me a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
You're still just joking. You're not being hateful, but you get that little bit of out.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is important because otherwise it goes in your body. You got to get that out.
You got to get it out. Mm-hmm. You've got to get it. One thing that somebody, recently, as a matter of fact, I stole something off of a, whatever you call the little videos on the Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking to a friend recently, and I said, self-degrading, degrading jokes are harmful. You can't do those anymore. I said, first thing is that there was a period of time where it seemed like they were funny, but people have let me know over time that it's not funny. They don't want to see you do that thing. But the other big portion of that is that when you make those jokes, you think it and you also hear it, and it's all inside of here now, right? Yeah. And it's that whole bit of speaking things into reality. So I've told a lot of people lately is don't think these things.
Yeah.
Don't think that you don't belong in a particular place. You've got a table, you got a seat at that table, take your seat at the table and be a part of the thing that you've been invited into.
Yes.
And so yeah, that's kind of that part that, the fun yet snarky parts that you can get out of your system because you don't want it in here. Yeah. And then just recognizing, you don't have to be mean and hateful to people to do it either.
Exactly.
Right?
No, I totally agree. Totally agree.
And also because they'll hit. And I don't want to get hit.
There's that. There is definitely that. I have to say it to my kids all the time. I tell my daughter all the time, don't dim your light. Like, why do you feel this need to dim your, it's this weird thing. She always is like, apologizing or self-deprecation or all that stuff. And I'm like, you can still be humble, grounded, and not, self-centered or whatever, and still not dim your light. Like,
right.
Share it. Like, people want to be around people who are happy.
That's very true. That is very true. And one neat thing about our little circle of friends here we're all creative, but at the same time, you know, if somebody's down, we're all there for each other.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
as much as we can, as much as the one of us will let the others be, because sometimes we need that little bit of alone time to just be.
yeah.
Right.
No, that's so
So
important.
one of my very favorite artists is a good friend of mine, Trevor, and he posted that Bitsy and Tyler have both been to Superman Celebration. And so you're behind. You got to get there.
I gotta get there. I
Oh,
should know.
as a matter of fact, because I'm mentioning Trevor, 1 second, right here on the wall of my little studio room is a painting that he did of my characters dressed
Oh
as Superman and
wow.
Super Mule because he's a mule. And
That is so cool.
he's just absolutely a great artist. This was an art swap, and when I gave him the piece I did for him, I felt bad when he gave me this masterpiece.
That's really good. That is really
He's
that's
excellent, but I'm always going to cheer him on because he does really, really good work. And what? So you met your husband in a project. What was that project, and how do you balance work, family dynamics at home working together?
that's this is blue. That's why I put it behind me because it all started with blue. In fact, I have twin boys. Like I said, I had twins, and the first twin, the one who was born first, his name is Jai Blue. So we put the blue in his name. Blue is very important. I mean, because we met on blue. My husband was an ex-pro boxer. So he was a professional boxer in New York City. And he got a life-changing, career-ending injury where he had got hit in the ear during one of his sparring matches, and it ended his career. And he got into acting because Spike Lee saw him boxing in one of the gyms and put him in his movie. So he got it. So he got into acting that way. And what's funny is Blue, so he did his own boxing movie. I was just an actress in LA. I went in and auditioned for it, just like normal. I didn't know him, had no connection to him whatsoever. And I just remember going into the audition and him reading across from me. So he was the star. I was to play his love interest. And during the audition, I just remember thinking to myself, he's really good. You know, it's like another one of those moments. I was like, he's a good actor, huh? And it was just, and he's cute. But but that was about it. It was just a fleeting thought. And then I got the part, and we're on set, and I'm playing his love interest in this movie that he produced and wrote and created. And it was just another, I mean, these are the little touch points in your life. It was a magical moment again. It was early in my career, right? I was a lot younger. I hadn't booked the series yet. I was still, waiting tables at the time, I believe. Yep, I still was. I was still grinding in LA when I did this film. And so it was a turning point because I met him, and he was one of these rare people that I go, oh, you're from New York, like me. You're from kind of inner city. Like that's how I grew up. I grew up in the inner city, but I'm also an artist. And that combination is hard to find. You're either getting one or the other. You know what I mean? You either get the guy or the girl who grew up this certain way, and you're like, they're cool, but they don't really know art. And so this was when I knew I was going to marry this guy. I swear. We were on set one day. I said, oh, I could marry him. And he told me, and we're talking about growing up in Oakland, and he's growing up in New York, and we have all this stuff. And then he said to me, "Boy, but I had this obsession in New York." I said, "Really? What was your obsession?" He goes, every day I would go to the bookstore and just read Shakespeare all day. I said, "What? Hold on. You are a guy from Queens, New York, who was a boxer, who grew up in probably the worst part of town, but you would go to the bookstore and read Shakespeare all day?" You got to understand, at that time, I'm a Shakespeare nerd. I'm come from the theater. I'm a classics nerd. I was like, I will never meet a guy like this again. What are you talking about? Like, you're a guy who you like hip hop music and you love Shakespeare. Forget about it. We're getting married. So that, and I'm joking, but like literally that our connection is art. He's a film buff. He loves films. He loves theater. And then he's also just a really tough, cool guy who could beat up anybody he came in to, anybody who messed with me. They're not going to mess with him. He's a boxer. So he did a boxing movie about a guy who has, again, this duality. I'm telling you, this is the through line. So long story, so all that, now we collaborate in the sense we have the 3 children, so we have to be parents. But he's a really he is writing all day, every day. He's really a hard worker, and we have a lot of projects, and that's kind of what so we produce together. He mostly does the writing, and then we produce projects. So we have a few projects just basically in different points of production that we're just waiting to show the world. And I'm just excited about some more. I feel like we did Blue and it got sold to Showtime. It got sold to Showtime and Stars. It won a lot of festivals, and now it's on Amazon. So anybody out there, you guys want to watch it, It's called Blue, the American Dream on Amazon. I'll plug it. It's a really good film. You can see where it first happened between us. And I think it's a good little film. And now we're just trying to create the next kind of a higher level, bigger budget stuff. So we're just in the works of doing some TV series, a film, and a pilot. And kind of maybe we're trying to decide whether it's going to be a pilot or if he's going to do it as more of a limited series. So
do these ideas come up over folding laundry, or when do you find time to work on this? I mean, do you go to the office, the studio, and you come home, or you just have a place there at the house, or it's just all over the house?
We have a home office. So right now I'm in it. It's our garage, which we turned into, because we also have to self-tape. So this is our studio / office. We have to, so now actors, everything is self-tape. So we don't even go out and audition anymore. So we're a real team. When I audition, he films me. He auditions, I film him. We do all our interviewing here, and then all his writing he does here. All of our meetings we do here. And then I would say our collab, this morning, I was getting coffee, getting ready for this. And he's in the kitchen and he's like, so what do you think of this character? And if we do this, then I'm like, I like that, but maybe so literally, yeah, it would probably be all the time. Or when we watch a lot of shows together, we get to brainstorming, or he'll have me read his scenes a lot. I'll read his stuff. What do you think, Daya? Do you like it? What would you change? So our lives are very intertwined between parenting and being collaborating as artists. So he's on me though right now because he's much more disciplined about writing. He's more disciplined than me. I'm gonna admit it. He is. He's one of those, those people, those annoying people who get up at 5 a.m. and they work out right away, and then they write for 4 hours, and then they do this. He's one of those, I know the one. I'm sleeping in. I'm too tired. He's already gotten up and is done. He's one of those.
Trying to fit in all the work at the last 4 hours of the day before bed.
Yes, that's me. I'm procrastinating. I'm trying to have my glass of wine. He's in there I'm not having the wine. I need to write in the morning. Oh, come on. Just have the wine, dude. But then, of course, he's more disciplined. He's that's good. It's a good balance.
So we know about the writing. We know about the acting, of course, the dancing and all, but you are also producer and just messing around on the internet, trying to get all the information I could because I want to bug you about everything I can bug you about. You produced The Locksmith. What is the job of producer on a show?
Yeah, you're literally, I always say, and he's better at this again than me, but I've learned a lot from him, it's like putting on a huge, massive party, and you are putting it on, and you are the person who has to put everything together. The producer puts everything together from ground up, from the script to the thing to the finishing product. You are part of every aspect of doing a film. So anything you watch on TV or film, the producer, so there's different things. So the tricky part is producer's different on TV than it is on film. So producer on film is the main person who goes from getting all the money, literally putting the money together, financing it, finding who's either you're the writer or finding writers, getting the cast, getting the director, getting then the financing, then afterwards getting the project sold, blah, 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 right? you're on set every day. You're making sure everything fits like a puzzle piece. On TV, it's the exec producer. So exec producer and showrunner on TV is the one who is the main honcho, and producer is the one on film. And there's usually more than one because it's a big job. But if you're like us, who we call ourselves producers, we are trying to create projects from scratch. If you meet a producer who's part of a studio, that's different. They work for the studio and they're helping produce the studio's projects, right? So Superman and Lois had producers that they were working with at the time, the CW, the network. Our producing is he writes the project. We have to raise the money so it's independent. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there's independent producing and then there's studio producing. The studio producers have more money.
Yes.
The independent producers, we have to raise money. Kind of like, so you want to get like, you crowd, whatever way you find investors.
Crowdfunding, Kickstarter, all of these different things that help you get the money.
Yeah, but then you have to go to a bigger level than that. Like you have to get like venture capital, big capital money, because you're raising, if you really like at this level, if you want to do a really big, like a good project, you're having to raise millions. So when it gets into that level, like right now he's talking about, raising 2 million. You have to kind of get seed money from someone who believes in your idea. And then you have to go out. So you're a salesperson, an artist, you're everything. It's a hard job. It's a really big, hard job. But you start small. Like Locksmith was small film with people we knew. We could do it, and we kind of have the whole team collaborate, and then everybody puts on blue, a little bigger. Now we're trying to do much bigger projects. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, like more.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're getting there and you're dealing with that kind of money, there's not a lot of room for messing up. You really have to be on top of it because this is people's money, So, and the other thing I'll say is the two of us, we want to do things that matter. We're more into kind of having a conscious social justice element to it. We care about our planet. I always want to have a little bit of that bent. He cares a lot about just our world and rights within civil rights, things like that, voting rights. We have a social justice bent to us.
And that works great for somebody like me because I'm in Memphis, and of all the places in the world, Memphis is kind of a hub for all of that type of social justice to happen.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of the civil rights work happened out of Memphis,
that's
historically,
true.
and the marches and everything kind of started because of the sanitation worker strike here in Memphis, right? And so when you start going from there and expanding it out, a lot of that has happened from this city and as kind of a hub for all of that. And of course, it's happened in more places than here. It's just being here, I'm a little bit more seated into the history of it, and so I'm going to be biased and say, our city.
That's your hometown. You grew up there.
Well, I grew up in a little place in Mississippi called Holly Springs until I was 16, and I've been in Memphis the rest of that time. And so Memphis is, when somebody says, where are you from? I'll tell them Memphis, Tennessee, because this is home. This has been home forever. And, it has its spot in the national media, the news and all of that. And they don't look at it in the brightest way, but we're one of the greenest cities. We've still got tons of old trees here. A lot of the nicest people, regardless what the news says. Tons of charity here. I was just about to mention, food justice, for example, where a lot of people are getting fed that are food insecure, right? And there's movements on trying to get safer, healthier, better food in regions of the city that it's not available. So, we have all of this charitable stuff going on. Really and truthfully, the best diversity, the best culture, the best food, everything I feel is just it all culminates from the rest of the world right here, because we have a restaurant for every region of the world here. And
No, yeah. I
oh
had no
yeah,
idea.
you got to come to Memphis.
I'm gonna come to Memphis. I mean, you're really selling it. Like, I had no idea. I don't think I realized, because again, yeah, you're just getting these, like, the media portraying areas a certain way, and then you find out, no, it's like a really, really cultural place. I didn't know that. I'm very. I want to try. I want to visit.
It is, and outside of that, also, a lot of people here, they'll say, you know, well, there's nothing to do, but we have constantly got free entertainment in this city, and even at our biggest park, Overton Park, we've got the Levitt Shell, or the Overton Park Shell, and they have free concerts out there all the time. Even last night, they had a free concert. Lisa Marie Presley at one point performed over there, you know. So I'm just pitching that name because homegrown, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
But
Well,
yeah,
it's in the big music scene too, right? There's like huge music. You're right near, like, Nashville and then all the, I mean, how
right.
the blues, right? I mean, so I know that
Rock and roll, blues, rockabilly,
Yeah.
soul, rhythm and blues, jazz, like all of that. The heartbeat of life was given to all of that right here in this city. And
That's
so
cool.
it's a great place to come down to visit. And you know, when you start looking at the Stax movement and all of that, well, it's the studio's been turned into a music academy now. And so these are some of the most talented kids coming out of that academy, that you can watch one of their performances and you are so charged to go out and do whatever creative thing you can find to do. You just want to do something creative. It doesn't matter what.
That's amazing. Wow.
It
You're
is.
selling your city. I want to
Dude,
go. You are
I love
selling
Memphis.
That's so cool. That is,
Well,
yeah.
and speaking of that, so Locksmith was shot. It read is that it happens in the deep South, and I know down in the South it can be hot. In most places, people are nice and friendly. What kind of preparation did everybody go through to prepare for working in the South?
Yeah, Dalton, Georgia, especially Dalton. Woo! So it was more. So again, because that was when my kids were little, I was separated from it on set more than he was. He was the lead and the writer, and the and our good friend Ryan Minningham, and Jamie Minningham, two of our very best friends, were producer and director. Ryan's the director who did Blue, and they live in Georgia and they're from Georgia. So that's why we were doing it there. So we had their family support. We had some locations that we were able to get. So that's kind of why we were there, but also because of the nature of the content of it was basically like horror, and that he wanted to go deep woods, Dalton. So the funny part of it, so my husband, who's African American and quite dark skinned, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried. I was like, do we need to go there? Like, really? I don't know. And my husband's the kind of person where he's just like, I'll go anywhere. You know, he's not like that. He's not scared. He doesn't have fear. But he did say, and I didn't go on that trip, but apparently when they were in Dalton, they went into some local pub type of local joint. And it was definitely what we call hush the crowd. We call it hushing the crowd. So not only is it just like all these, you know, they're already reacting to like actors and directors in these kind of like, who are these like Hollywood types? You know what I mean? There's already the like judgment on the Hollywood. And then here it comes in my husband, the only black guy from miles and miles around, walking into this place. And it was literally, he told me there's everybody just like record screech, like, I kind of looked at him and he was like, all right, well, but then after you got past that, right? And they were like, oh, they're doing a movie. Oh, okay. Oh, who are you? And I just think it was like, and this is the beauty of art, right? This is really the one thing that brings people together. All kinds of people from all different places, because once they got past that, then all of a sudden they got excited and they're like, oh, they're doing a movie out here. Oh, who are you? Oh, you're an actor. And then people become people. And that's, to me, that's the key, because it's really easy to demonize people behind a keyboard, right? But when you meet them and you go to their town and you shake their hand and you meet them face to face, well, now we're human to human. And then all of a sudden this stuff changes. And now we're meeting, we're having a beer and we're hanging out, or we're just having some tea and talking and chopping it up, and they're supporting you and they're having fun. They're glad you came, and it changes. And if it sometimes just that one experience might change the way someone thinks about someone like my husband, or thinks about Hollywood, or those Hollywood elites, blah, 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 all the stereotypes, right?
Yeah, it takes just that one meeting.
Yep. And so for me, I was hesitant to go out there, but then I was kind of like happy that we did, because I do think that's what shifts paradigms. That's what makes people come together, and we need to do more of it. We need to figure out, in the world that we are also polarized, we have to figure out these ways. And I think it's done through art, sports, film, but especially art, especially that's how we do it. So if we can find ways to go into different areas, and plus, and I hate to say it is cheaper to film those. That's where we sometimes, like, it's expensive to film in LA. So yeah, that's where we.
No, absolutely. No, just relating to that, my best friend is a African American guy, and our first trip to a convention was on a Greyhound bus going through Alabama. And when I pointed it out, he sunk down in his seat.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
then a trip not even 10 years ago, we go through Arkansas, and we stopped at a truck stop to get a snack. The whole bunch of us did. And we walked in. It was that whole thing where everybody stops dead still, turns and looks. And we went, hey, and then left.
And then left.
We ate at a gas station otherwise. Just got us snacks and kept going.
Yeah.
So
you get to, you're like Ryan is to Dom. Ryan, his boy Ryan, who he grew up with. That's Ryan, who lives in Georgia, but is one of his best friends. He has a Southern accent, just like you. He talks with a Southern accent.
Like me?
Yes, like you. He sounds just like you. Ryan Minningham, look him up. He's a great guy.
I have to.
You have to look him up. He is a true homegrown. I think his wife grew up in Tennessee, I want to say, or Alabama. One of those Southern, real deep South. They're from deep South. So, and just the coolest people ever.
And then that tells me that they make good cornbread.
Yeah.
And I'm all about that.
Yep. Oh yeah, that cooking. Yeah, I can't cook like them. Their cooking is on another level. You guys in South, your cooking, I can't. Yeah, that's on another level. But
I remember talking to a friend from Oregon one time, and he was down here working on a puppet project, and I said, let's go out and get dinner one night. And he said, okay. And we're sitting and we're packing it away because that's what you do. And he said, since I've been here in 3 days, I've gained, and I forgot how many pounds. And I said, yeah, that'll happen because the food's good and you just can't quit eating it, as I'm still shoveling food in my mouth. And I said, what do you eat up there? He goes, nuts and berries. I said, dirt and grass? He goes, pretty much. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, same. In LA, it's like that. You eat nuts and berries. Everything's vegan. Oat milk.
I do almond milk now. I'm on almond milk, and I get vegetarian meats.
Yep.
More than fish and chicken. I'll still do that, but vegetarian meat otherwise for things.
Oh yeah, same.
You just reach a certain age, and then things happen, and you say, oh well, got to start doing this new diet thing.
You do. I know. We have to. I mean, it is healthier. We do have to be healthy.
It is.
Every
but
once
you
in a while,
feel better.
You do feel better, right? You do. I mean, you have more. When I changed my diet because of the cancer, I had to radically change my diet. Radically. I mean, I really had to change it, and I have to say it. At first it was hard, but now I'm kind of used to it, and it did make a big difference. I mean, it really did change everything. So it's good. I do think you're allowed to have moments, like you should allow yourself, and in moderation you got it. But I am a proponent of eating healthy.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, and cheat days, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
You should allow yourself a chocolate cake once in a while.
Yes, exactly. I think
not a slice, a chocolate cake.
For me, it's my thing is So I am a huge chocolate person, but now because I stopped eating it that much, I stopped losing my taste. I lost my taste for like the sweet chocolate. So now I have to have that like crazy 80% dark chocolate. Know what's crazy about that though? If you start eating that stuff, that with like it has like endorphins or something. When you start eating, because at first you hate it because it's too bitter, but it's one of those, it's an acquired taste like coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's an acquired taste like anything else. And once you acquire it, I can't even eat regular chocolate. Like that kind of chocolate, whew, it'll put you in a good
So
mood.
good. Have you had
Yeah.
the dark chocolate that has a little bit of cayenne pepper with it?
And sea salt. I like
And
the
sea
cayenne
salt.
pepper
Yeah.
and some sea salt. Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah. So good.
Okay. We're family now.
Yes. I'm down. I feel you on this. I feel
When
you.
when you come to Memphis, that's one of the things we're looking for. It's a
Ah,
dark chocolate with the cayenne pepper and the sea salt. We got to
okay.
find it.
I'm down.
I'm
I am
for that.
down.
One of my friends has read the books about Bosch that is, of course, by Michael Connolly. You got on, and this is going to be for him at this point, right? I'm asking these for him because
Mhm.
he loves it. Jen Kowski
Yep.
is the name of the character that you had.
Hmm.
Was that character created for you on this show? Well, I guess really for the people who don't know this show, what's the synopsis of it, and then your character?
So Bosch is based off of Michael Connolly's books. Bosch, right? He did a whole series of them, and it's about a kind of a rogue detective cop who solves crimes in questionable ways. I guess that's the way you would sum it up. But he's really he pushes the envelope, but he's kind of Robin Hood character. He's doing it for good reason, but he kind of pushes the law, right? In the book, again, this is what I just realizing now as I tell you, it's kind of a similar thing where just like Onomatopoeia was a man or was a male supervillain and turned into a female, Jen Kowski in the books is male. So she's not called Jen Kowski. So that's probably why you wouldn't recognize the character. And I'm actually forgetting the name of the male character, but the character is, so if he knows, this goes to, what's your friend's name?
Michael.
Michael. So Michael, if he's watching or if he listens to this, when you read the books, the whole there's the cops and then there's the politicians. It's two storylines that all takes place in LA. So the mayor, so it's basically LA politics with the police force and how those intermix. The mayor character has so you remember the show House of Cards?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys remember the sly Kevin Spacey, the evil guy who was Kevin Spacey's basically fixer, sidekick. What's his name?
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the actress, but that character. This is the same kind of character in Bosch. She, which was a he, was the one who was doing all the dirty deeds to make things happen. But when they did the TV show, they made it a woman, and they called her Jen Kowski. And originally, I come in season 2. So in season 1, you don't see her. Season 2, I come in and and originally I was like really quote unquote the bad guy, bad woman, whatever. So for Michael, the people who follow the books, all you have to do is I do follow that storyline, but it's the man. So they essentially did the same thing that they do in the books, but they made her a woman. And that was again to, make it more interesting, to give a female antagonist. So I did follow it, but again, we veered off. The only thing I would say that happened in making her a woman, I think maybe, I don't know. Michael Connolly will tell me if this is true if he watches it. Did they pull her away from the evilness a little bit? I felt like they did. I felt like we could lean in. It's almost like when a man was doing it, it was a little more acceptable. Then all of a sudden a woman's doing it. It's like, oh, we don't want her to do too much. So I felt like in some ways we pulled back a little bit with her. Like she wasn't as shady as she could have been. but I tried to make her such. So for me, Jen, in my mind, I got to play her for 7 years. So in 7 years of playing her, which was you know, awesome to be able to, would you play a character for that long? I had fun, like kind of driving her. So for me, Jen, I kind of got close to Jen as a character. I was like, oh no, everything had an angle. Whether or not they wrote it or not, in my mind, when I was playing her, it had an angle. She was the utmost opportunist, right? Like, again, super fun to play. Like, I don't want to play a girl who's just walking in and is just another day. That's boring.
Right.
I want to play somebody who's like, what am I trying to get? I'm trying to work someone, and she's the utmost opportunist, and she's super, super ambitious. So everything she was doing was like, oh no, I'm trying to like, either I'm trying to get myself into the higher echelon, or I'm trying to get who I represent, which was at that time Lance. Bless, you know, rest in peace, Lance. I don't know if you guys know, he did pass away. The one I played with for 6 years, he passed away in real life, which was hard.
Wow.
But when we were on set, a lot of my stuff was with him, and he was good. He was really a good actor. So I don't know if do you know who I'm talking about? Lance Redding?
I didn't get a chance to see the series before this, but I did a little bit of cheating and went on, thank God for YouTube.
Yeah.
And so I got a chance to see some of that. Yeah.
So he's the tall guy, Lance Redding, the one who plays the mayor, and I'm him. Fantastic actor. And God, you just didn't know he was going to die, you know, in real life. Like, that was just crazy. He had a heart attack that goes back to our health thing. Like, he was always healthy though. And he was, you know, he's just so unexpected and so tragic. And
that's one of the things I push lately. Well, actually not just lately, but a while. And some of the people that know me are going to be like, oh God, we're hearing about this again. But a year and a half ago, I had a heart attack thanks to family genes. And that and probably Memphis diet too. But you know, I had mine hit, and it was 100% blockage, a widowmaker they called it. But obviously, it, you know, it could have been tragic because of what it was, the way that it was. For me, I'm glad it wasn't, because I wouldn't be able to have fun like this if it had been, right? But I always keep telling people, touching on what you mentioned about health and all, is, you know your symptoms of things and be ready. Have your plan when those symptoms strike. Men heart attacks are different than women heart attacks. Know what those differences are so you're prepared. But even more than that, get checkups. Go to the doctor, get things checked out, because, you know, we go in for, you know, different things for checkups every year, and check up on these things too. Talk to a cardiologist, get somebody you know. You know, does somebody in the family have such a thing? Yeah, my dad's side of the family, they had strokes and heart attacks. Like, you know, hey, free pancakes, give it here. Wow. And so knowing that history, I knew to be wary of it. So when it happened, I knew what was happening.
You did, and you went right to the doctor. Is that what saved you?
I went. I have a roommate. One of my other best friends is my roommate, and I'm in an old house, and there's a door between every room of the house, basically, and there's a room between my bedroom and his bedroom, and I started feeling that tightness. It was started, you know, just after 8 in the morning one day, and it went on until after 8:30, and I said, yeah, this is something. So as I'm getting dressed, I was one shoe away, and nausea flushed. It felt like a sledgehammer down my arm, through my jaw, and I threw the door open. I was like, emergency room now. And he met me at the door. I went to say goodbye to the animals because I wasn't sure, you know. But you know, you have to know what's there and what's going on. Well, by that point, I've never had anything that hit before that said, you know, hey, you better be wary. You need to know what's going on. Nothing before that. It just was there. And so had I been getting those things checked out, knowing the history, I probably would have been aware that, hey, I'm headed in this direction. So now, I mean, obviously I'm okay.
What a testament. Whew. Thank God. I'm glad you're okay, because that one, a lot of people don't make it.
No, they don't. They don't. So at this point, I'm just going to say again, everybody go get tested for anything that your family is known to have. Because it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yes.
Every time.
100%.
Now, with Jen, do you have traits that you share with Jen?
Um, that's funny because she's so she's a tricky one. I'm so different than her, actually. That's why I think I like playing her because I'm so different. I'm so not. See, everything with her is strategic. She's super calculated, super strategic, super cunning. And the only thing I would say I share that I would connect with that character was the walking in the room and taking the room type of thing. Like that I'm better at. Like I like to be the life of the party. Like I'm very outgoing. I'm very probably tell I'm like talkative. I'm an outgoing personality. So she has that if she wants to, but that it starts and stops there. Like in terms of the connection, because I really made her different than me. Really different, because that's also I had to get behind how people could do things like that. Like she's very manipulative. And I had to get behind because I'm the opposite. I feel so bad. I'm very empathetic. I'm always like, I feel terrible. Even if I'm supposed to do something, I feel bad. I don't want to do it. I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I have all that. So I wanted to get behind like, what makes somebody be fine hurting someone? And in fact, in some ways, enjoying it. Is she a sociopath? So yeah, we don't share a lot, but that was what was fun about it.
So the person who's always got the angle, which
Yep.
she has,
Yep.
it's almost like we know somebody like that out there probably. And that's the person who we keep arm's length away.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I like you, but I'll see you later kind of
But
thing.
here's the trick. Here's the trick with acting that's different than real life. When you play characters like this, you have to be careful because you can make them very unlikable. And no matter how horrible, quote unquote, a person is, you as the person can't think you're horrible, right? You can't when you play characters like this, because otherwise they're just going to be dark and unlikable and nobody's going to be interested in watching it. So the real tricky part is how to have someone like that, but at the same time play it with levity and play it with where the character doesn't think. They think they're just being smart or kind or great. And it is like, when you meet people like that and they do questionable things and how they just don't even like seem to have any problem with it. And you look at them like you're good with that? Like you're okay. And I can't understand it. I just can't understand that way of being. But when you play a character like that, you start to, because of the way the lies they tell themselves. And sometimes they could be the most charming. So that's the thing about Jen. She's also has to be charming because in order to get what she wants, she can't just wear that evilness on her sleeve.
Right. It's that little bit of sly tweaking of things that I need this thing. I want to do this to get it. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Exactly. And I studied, actually, I did. So, because I think as an actor, you can borrow and steal for sure. I believe in that. Any actors or performers out there, somebody does work you like, learn it, take it. And I definitely did. I was obsessed with House of Cards. And his name is Michael, and I'm forgetting the actor's name again. I keep forgetting actors' names. But the one who plays that character, I studied him because I love how he played that character. I thought
he was dirty, man.
Oh, dirty, but you love watching it, right? You're just like, oh, he is just see, and that's what I like. So I really studied him in creating Jen. And like I said, I didn't get to do as much as he does because they didn't have me do as horrible things as I thought we were gonna go. Some of in the book, she does. There's more that goes on in the book, but in the show. She is pulling some strings. And then when we come back I don't know, you should watch, if Michael, your friend, should watch Legacy. I'd be curious because I come back in Legacy. Watch Legacy.
Well, I was going to ask, what's it like to put those shoes on again? I mean,
yeah.
Was it 4 or 5 years between?
Yeah, it was a little less, but yeah, that came out of nowhere. I didn't expect, that was a call out of nowhere. Hey, you want to come back? We're reprising Jen. I was like, cool, Jen comes back? I thought Jen was gone. Yeah, so that was fun. Because I thought Jen was done. I buried her. She was done, gone, like onomatopoeia, like your characters. You say bye to them, bye. And they called me and said, yeah, we're bringing her back. I was like, cool. And then I got to have fun with but this is a whole different show. You know, and then I got to be with Mimi Rogers. So you know Mimi Rogers? She's the one that plays.
Mm-hmm.
So if you watch the show, people watch the show, she's the one that plays the district attorney in the new Bosch.
Okay.
And she's Bosch's, and that woman is a force.
Oh.
She actually is the actress. She married Tom Cruise back in the day and she won an Oscar. I don't know if you remember. If you look her up, you'll know who she is.
Okay.
She is an badass actress, and she is a badass lady. Like, she is another one that you want to work with and you go, all right, let me take notes. You know, I learned a lot from her. And you got to go. And when you're acting with people like that, you really have to hold your own because they're tough, they're strong. Otherwise you're going to get, like, especially a character like this, you have to be able to hold your own with those kind of people who have strong presence and strong points of view and just have a lot of life force, you know?
Right. Well, because they can overpower the entire scene and put you in the ensemble somewhere for that portion.
Yep.
If you're not careful.
Yeah, completely.
Wow. So, talking about powerful forces in entertainment and all, if you got a call once we get off of here eventually, and you get that call and they say so and so wants to do something with you, who would be the person that would make you go, "Oh my God"?
Oh God, there's so many again. There's so many dream.
Top three. Let's say top three. Maybe that'll make it easier.
Yeah, top three. So I really, really want to be trying to think if it's so there is it's hard to narrow it. It's more the projects and who I want to be. So you know the whole world, like I said, the Succession world, that world with that team. That is the team I want to work with. Like, I want to get in with them, and there's a bunch of, it's not just one person, but there's the writing directing team there, because it's HBO, and HBO has this, to me, this storytelling that I have to get in with, because they tell the stories I want to, or we get our projects there. That's like kind of a dream place. Because I feel like, and I think a lot of the streamers do it. Netflix does it, Amazon does it, and I love what Amazon does too. I would say Amazon also, but HBO has this storytelling that I gotta be part of, man. I'm like, they're just raw and gritty, you know, and it's truthful. I like to be part of the stuff that's truthful, that's just real edgy. So it's not so much one filmmaker, it's kind of like what they're doing in these spaces. That's what I want to do. And I kind of, as I get older, I'm kind of feeling like I need to help create it. You know, because I think there's a little bit too much. I have a tendency to be waiting for it to happen too much. And I think I need to take, again, like my husband's better about creating it. And I think just working with him to, like, could we get one of our shows placed there, picked up there? That's that world, what they do. So I think that's kind of, and Amazon too. Like, Amazon is always doing good stuff. It's really the streaming. I mean, it's happening on network. Like what Noah did on The Pit is crazy. What Noah did with The Pit is phenomenal. Because it wasn't just him, it was with he re-collaborated with the ER guys and the people who did you know, all those guys. He reconnected with them, and they're just phenomenal writer creators. So it's kind of like the brilliant, like, geniuses in our business. Those are the ones. And I have a girl I want to plug, my girl Christy Hooks. You guys go look her up and look up Tiffany Paulson. Christy Hooks and Tiffany Paulson. Go look those names up, because those are two women who are coming up in the industry right now who are just powerhouses. Wow. Christy is a producer who I'm trying to collaborate with, who's doing amazing things. And Tiffany is a writer director who did Holiday. She does like rom-com stuff, but she does it with this like twist. Phenomenal. So I'm trying to work with these ladies. Right. So it's the HBO people over here and then these ladies. That's why I was trying to narrow it down. Those would be the two things I want to like do those like just cool cutting edge stuff. Did that help? Did that answer?
Yeah, no, I think that's a beautiful answer. It's perfect. It's perfect for that. And it's interesting, I like the idea that it's story driven and not so much the person
Yeah, it's story
or
driven
people
for sure.
behind it, but
Yeah.
stories. What
Story
have
is
you got if
king.
you don't have a good story?
Story is king. Story is even if somebody came to me and it wasn't a lot of money or it wasn't like a big, but the story is there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm responding because it's the story. Even this story of what you guys are trying to do, of what you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to accomplish. That is what was interesting to me. That's what got me. I'm like, yeah, sign me up. I like what you're doing. I like the story. I like what's behind it. What you're trying to
Yeah.
tell.
And again, it's an important thing that we're working on with this. So just to do another quick little station break thing here, I guess I don't know what you want to call it, but we're talking today as part of Otherworldly Fundraising, a little internet convention, and we're benefiting Options Save Lives. And again, I typed out my own little blurb here for it, but it empowers and supports individuals using the Sinclair method. You know what? I've mentioned that twice now. I've got to go online and look at that and see what Sinclair method is. But it's to achieve full recovery from alcohol use disorder. And we know that a lot of families tend to be affected by alcohol use, and a lot of people want out of it. A lot of people just can't. But that support that people can find with a group like this, I think, is both beneficial and important, and will help people live their better life and find themselves in a place where they may not have been able to find it to start with. Steve, welcome back.
Yes, I'm here. Welcome. So, what I'm going to do, I did find the video, so that I was looking for at the beginning. So I'm going to play that. You guys can stay here. So I have the little video that we have for this. All right, here we go.
Otherworldly Fundraising is a group of friends who decided to use our nerdy talents to help others. Our charity this year is Options Save Lives, which helps individuals fully recover from alcohol use disorder. Thank you for joining us this weekend and for donating to this worthy charity.
Okay, so Kristen, our guest liaison, she commented, the Sinclair method is a scientific approach to fighting alcohol use disorder, a mix of therapy, education, and medicine that helps remove the endorphins from your brain so that if you have alcohol use disorder, you can then go ahead and have a drink and not feel the need to continue drinking.
Mm.
And if you go to their website, and I don't remember exactly what what their website address is. I'll have to write it down. But if you go to Otherworldly Fundraising at GoDaddySites.com, our website, you can find links that'll take you there. It is tsoptions.org. No, it's no. tsmoptions.org, the Sinclair method. So tsmoptions.org, and that will tell you everything you need to know. And there's a video where they explain it all. And I want to thank you for being here, for doing this interview. It was originally only supposed to be an hour, but our guest for the previous hour, for whatever reason, was unable to show up. So you guys killed it. You kept talking, and it was perfect, and it was great. And as someone who has been a lifelong Superman fan, grew up with Superman, saw Christopher Reeve in the theaters in 1978, and has loved every iteration of Superman, I'm probably going to say, and I even have seen the new David Cornsweet movie in the theaters 5 times. My favorite Superman, Clark Kent, is probably going to be Tyler.
Whoa!
Because
really?
I think
Wow.
he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And it was a different take
Yep.
than what we've seen in the past.
Yep.
Lois and Clark start out married with twin boys, and they go places with Lois that no one's ever gone before. And bravo for them. And bravo for her and you sitting in the chair together, just talking and doing your thing when you were both getting chemo, and it was just
Mhm.
very well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So what I will say is our next guest, and you guys can stay here for the moment. I'm going to bring in our next guest, Morgan Siebert. She is curator of the Super Museum in Metropolis, Illinois,
Oh, wow.
Hello.
where
How are
we
you guys?
were telling Daya about wanting to have her come to Metropolis some year for the Superman celebration. She'd never heard about it, but
Okay.
she's now a Superman alum.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's part of the super family now, and she seemed very receptive to learning about Metropolis.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. Yeah. So, a little bit about Metropolis. Metropolis, Illinois is the official home of Superman through DC Comics. We've been the official home of Superman since 1972. My family moved here in 1993 and opened the Super Museum. My dad's the founder. We have over 70,000 Superman items on display in the museum, and that includes costume pieces and props from different variations of Superman through film and television, original artwork, animation cells, lots of toys and collectibles, and everything you can think of Superman from 1938 till now.
Amazing. Wow. That's
And there
amazing.
is a Super Grover on a shelf there, by the way.
That's incredible. Wow. That's awesome, you guys. Well, Chrissy, you reach out to me and we'll make that connection. So thank you. I love what you do. That's amazing. I'm very curious.
All right. Well, thank you too for your time, and it was great. And yeah,
Thanks for playing along, Daya. I
Kevin,
appreciate
thank
you, and
yeah,
Yes.
you're
it's been
great.
a lot of fun.
You're great. You're
All
really
right.
And I'm
great.
here
I
to
will-
come to Memphis. Holler.
I know. I will. I'm going to. Yeah, Chris. I now have all the emails, so we will stay in touch. So, thank you guys
All
so
right.
much. This was fun. Thank you.
Yes. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve. See you,
You're
Morgan.
welcome.
Guys.
Otherworldly Fundraising is a group of friends who decided to use our nerdy talents to help others. Our charity this year is Options Save Lives, which helps individuals fully recover from alcohol use disorder. Thank you for joining us this weekend and for donating to this worthy charity.